Okay, so here we are where I hope to be the last and final part, last and final, that's redundant, of this series. And this steel plate here, I did the drawing on SketchUp, saved it as a DXF file, and sent it down to my buddy Smitty in Missoula, where he has a metal fabrication shop, and he cut it out on his CNC plasma cutter. And it's kind of a odd shaped little thing, more representative of the top, the tabletop, the way that, well, it's leaning over there, but kind of the curves and things that are cut in it. Now all I have to do is drill each corner for that furniture foot over there, and the two holes here to support the stump holding the top. And I'll just use that stick there to gauge it, and then so that I can get accurate measurements to where the holes for the furniture feet will go. And I'll do that here in a bit, and then mount that plate to the bottom of the table, and we'll see how it works. All right, well, good morning, and excuse me, and we're back. Over there where you see that stain on the workbench, last night or yesterday afternoon when I left, I wanted to try a homemade chemical solution to put on the plate that will go on the top of, well, that would be what sits on the floor, the steel plate. And I wanted to antique it and get it to looking rusty. And so I tried this chemical composition that I found on the internet, and Frank Romeo, my buddy, him and I were chatting about different stuffs, and anyway, I did this other thing. I've had piss poor luck with doing the hydrogen peroxide and vinegar and salt thing, and this time I followed this same recipe except no vinegar. And all I did when I walked in here, I just moved it from there over to here because it's easier where the tripod is sitting to see what's going on. And I have not looked at this yet, so you're going to see it at the same moment I do. And what I did was, after I sprinkled the hydrogen peroxide on the steel plate, then I sprinkled salt on top of that, put the plastic bags down on the surface, at the top surface, to keep it from evaporating, and then use this piece of copper to weight it down. And this copper is also going to be an integral part of the lamp, and I'll show you that here in a while. So what you're about to see is the exact moment that I get to see it, and so we'll see how it turns out. Well, as I suspected, it looks like shit. No rust, more than it was on there. There is a discoloration, but the plate's not rusty. All right, well, I guess I'm off to something else. Okay, after my disastrous attempt with the lampshade using the gin bottle, I came up with another idea that I think is going to work pretty darn good. I'm hoping so, but I've got a copper plate there, and I've got a piece of paper here that's representative of what the copper plate will be cut like, exactly like this. Pretend this piece of paper is that copper plate, and essentially these ears fold up and they go inside and create a box, if you can see that, and to cut these ears like so. I've got the bandsaw, the cutest bandsaw ever, set up to do exactly this. So we're going to walk over there. Here he is, the cutest bandsaw ever. This is one of the free tools that I got from a client that, or turned out to be a client, and her dad had a bunch of tools, a joiner, a table saw, this here bandsaw. This is a 12-inch Monkey Ward's bandsaw. I had to put new tires on him, and then clean up the table and redo the motor stand that the fellow had. Same stand that it's sitting on is what he had, but I kind of changed it a bit. So I'm just going to bring the copper plate over. I've got a stop block set up for the 4-inch, which would be these tabs right here. So 4 inches deep. So I cut one, turn it over, would cut the other one, and duplicate the process for the other one. So that's what it will end up looking like. And let me go get the plate. So here's the copper plate. It's 15 inches square. By the time it gets folded up, 4 inches on each, 4 inches here, 4 inches here, that'll leave me 7 inches in between here. So, 4 is 8 and 7 is 15. Hang on, I need to put a thin strip over there because the copper wants to slide underneath the fence. That ought to do it. I noticed that the blade wanted to hang up as I was pulling it out, so I'm not going to do that again. Now I'll just turn it over and do the same thing. That strip keeps it from slipping under the fence edge. And I'll just pick that up. Now back over to the workbench. This is the north workbench. This is where all the main work takes place here in the shop because it's closer to the Powermatic 66 table saw, which is the workhorse of the shop, and then the west workbench is back there. Same size, has a little bit different configuration. It doesn't have all the shelves and such under it that this one has, but it's basically the same workbench. All right, so I got the sheet of copper cut. It looks exactly like that. These tabs here These all fold up. Let's see if you're seeing the same thing I am. This whole section here, here, and here folds up. Here, here, and here will fold up, and then this one will fold in, and then these tabs will go inside, just like I showed you earlier, to create this box. Now, I got to thinking about this, and just a plain sheet of copper is not going to look too awful spiffy. I mean, by the way, this is the bad side. This is the good side. It still has a cover on it. It's not going to look too awful splendiferous if I just leave it plain. So I got to thinking about giving it a hammered finish, like hammered, you know, you've seen it before, where it's just got pebbles looking on it. And my my brain was trying to come up with, excuse me, all sorts of ideas. And I thought about taking a ball peen hammer and beating the piss out of it. And then got to thinking about that. Boy, my arm would drop off after a short period of time. So I came up with so at nighttime when I'm sleeping, I do an awful lot of thinking. And I came up with an idea of what I could do to make the process a whole lot easier and, more effective. And what I did was, here's a piece of copper, and right there where it says bench, I just put the piece of copper on this side up, and I used a palm nailer. And I said, well, if I take and stick a carriage bolt in the palm nailer, and then I'll have this rounded surface here, and that'll give me that dimpled look right there, and it'll look every bit of like it was hammered. However, I didn't try other processes, and I'm going to do that right now. I've got, so you can see it. And what I'm trying to do is determine which hammered, whether the one on the workbench surface itself looks better, or whether a piece of cardboard underneath to do the hammering, or a piece of rubber. So I got CB for cardboard, and then I've got this piece of closed cell foam. You know, you've seen it, you get it in packages and stuff in the mail. That's going to be up here in the foam portion. And then this rubber pad, which is, maybe a heavy 16th thick. And that'll be the rubber pad. So I'm going to try each one of them right now before your very eyes and see which one looks the best. Okay, you want the hammered side, or the side that's going to be hammered facing down. So let's do, this thing is a noisy little bastard too, so if you don't own one, a palm nailer, this one's a Senko, by the way. You can see it there, Senko. That's all the tools I have. There are others, but Senko, this one here, these things are great. If you don't have one, get one. I mean, just for nailing, if nothing else. Okay, so we're gonna do cardboard on this section right here. When I was doing this the other day, I wondered if the neighbors were thinking it was a machine gun. See, I don't like that affair. That doesn't look as good as this. Okay, let's try the foam. I don't like that as much either. Okay, now we're going to do the rubber pad. That's pretty much the same as the Can you see it? That's pretty much the same. This is the rubber pad. That's pretty much the same as the cardboard. The foam is not as pronounced. This here looks a lot more random, so I'm gonna stick with the workbench idea. Okay, well, I gotta beat the piss out of it and then fold it up. We'll get back at you. Alrighty, I've got the pebbly surface hammered out on the copper, and maybe next time I'll use a stronger bolt. During all that beating and pounding, it mushroomed the thread end of this bolt pretty good, so this one's toast. And you're going to watch me try to raise those 3 tabs there. I've got a bar clamp there, hopefully to keep it from sliding and to give a sharp edge to bend the copper. And I wish I had a metal brake, but I don't. So I'm gonna try it on the cheap here. And I learned a long time ago, whenever you're messing with metal, always wear gloves. And I'm gonna use that block of wood over there as the press, and hopefully be able to turn that edge up at a sharp enough and crease make the crease where the fold's gonna be. So let's find out. That appears to be square enough. Yeah, I do believe that'll work. I'll just do the other side off camera. Alright, I got one end of the box folded up and clamped tight. And I was contemplating how to fasten the flap end here to the side end, and I thought about pop rivets, and then I said, well, that'll look like hell, because them being silver-ish color, aluminum. Then I remembered I have copper nails, and I said, well, I've got that swell palm nailer, I'll just make my own rivets. So I've got 3 sitting right over there that are cut out, and I have holes drilled in, holes drilled in this corner section, and a steel anvil. And the steel anvil the head of the nail will be inside the box, or in this case, the rivet will be inside the box, and then the shaft of the nail will be the one that gets flattened out. And I told you earlier I needed a harder bolt, so I went to my bolt supply and I got a grade 8 bolt. You can tell the grade by those little marks that's on the head of the bolt. And I think with these protrusions sticking out like that, it might add some character to the rivet. So you're fixing to see it the very first time, well, at the same time I do, and right now. I got the, let's see, maybe that'd be better for you. Okay, well, the steel and first rivet goes in, and I already got them cut off to length, or what I assume to be the right length. That blue mark there is to remind me not to do that again. So I'm going to stick it on the anvil and pick up the trusty palm nailer. Remember now, you're going to see this the exact same time I am, so. Well, that didn't work for shit. Alright, I think they need to be shorter. Okay, I'll pick this up in a bit. Okay, I got it figured out now. I had the rivets cut too long, and that's the reason why it folded over. But I've got those 3 and those 3 done on this side of the box. And as you can see, the nail heads are inside where they're up against the anvil here. And I got holes drilled to do I got holes drilled to do this corner of the box, and the rivets, nails are cut shorter. So we'll see how this goes. Well, you'll see how it goes. I've already seen how it goes. Basically, I just put one in the hole that's already pre-drilled, slide it on the anvil, and I found out that I can do this one tap at a time. If I don't hold pressure down on it, it doesn't do a multiple repeat. It'll do just one at a time. And there it is with the rivet, and it's mashed over there, and stick in the second one and carry on. Got to hold the rivet so it don't fall out the hole by when you put it on the anvil. That one ended up bending over. Damn it. Okay. Well, I'll just have to prune him out of there and do it again. I'll probably pick this up when I turn this into a lamp. Alrighty, well, I've got the box all riveted together and the hammered section there sticking out. The inside of the box, I still got to clean up those X's. I put those X's there to tell me not to hammer that because the fold that was coming up was already hammered. So I got to clean those off. Just take some lacquer thinner and that'll come out. And kind of sand over these edges so they're not sharp a little bit. And I got the plate mounted to the post. I decided to say piss on it and not try to rust it up. I'm going to do it a little bit differently, I think. I'm going to use some chemical that you can get. What's his name? What the hell's his name? Jimmy somebody. Oh, he does all that weird stuff. But I'm going to kind of Jimmy Diresta, that's him, the guy that throws shit around. I'm going to use some of that chemical that he uses and put that on there, but this will basically give you an idea what it's going to look like. Can you see it? You should be able to. And I'm going to make it so that I'm going to make it out of pipe fittings, the structure that holds that box. And then the top of the post will be like an elbow that comes out, and then a piece of pipe goes down into the post, and then out of the elbow, a piece of pipe, another elbow down into the lamp fixture. And somehow fasten that elbow on the inside of here so that it supports it like that. And that's what I'm going to work on here just shortly, and see how that looks. I might have to end up doing something different, but so far I'm happy with the box. It looks nice, and I think with the copper and all the other things working together, I think it'll be a lot better than that gin bottle. Okay, well, we'll pick this up later. All right, well, here it is on the west workbench. The top post there has been glued to the post that was, or the dowel that was sticking out of the top there, and that's the arrangement I got for clamping it down. And the supporting member down there, Stumpo, is glued, and that's why he's able to hang there like that. And I've got both of them have already been stained, and you're probably wondering why I didn't just glue it all together and stain it all at once. And the reason for that is, for those of you that are woodworkers, you would know that as you're staining something above, chances are little drops of stain are going to fall down on the, what would be in this case, the horizontal surface. And those little drops of stain get in there and they create a darker region, and therefore it's hard to, when you come by and put the stain on the flat surface there, those little dots that fell down from the vertical part are going to be darker and more pronounced, and they'll stick out like a turd in a punch bowl. So to combat that, I stained these two first, and then glued them to the tabletop. And now I can stain this table surface, and everything will be the same color, and it won't have any of those ugly little drops. And over here, in front of the wood stove, see, there it is the steel plate, and I've got it primed. I nixed the whole idea of trying to make it rusty looking. It didn't, besides the fact it didn't work, I got to the thinking that it probably wouldn't look too awful well. So what I opted to do is get a spray can of stone type paint. It's a textured paint, speckle if you want to look at it that way, and that's what's going to go on there, and it's going to be an earth tone color to kind of go with the darker colors of the posts. So we'll see what happens there, and we'll get back. All right, here we are. We're back at the Twisted Knot Wood Shop, and I kind of put this project on back burner while I was coming up with a conclusion on the lamp fixture, more specifically how to present the lamp fixture. Yesterday I sprayed on 2 coats of satin lacquer, and I got that pad on the tabletop there to protect the top in case something gets dropped while the fixture is being assembled. And the cord is pulled through from the top post there, and you can see it dangling there. That's not where it's going to end up. Remember earlier I showed you there's a trough underneath where the wire is going to come that direction and then down along the stump over there. And I turned some knobs, I guess you could call them that, the furniture feet that come up from the bottom. The bolt would look ugly, and the nut obviously. So I turned some caps, knobs, whatever you want to call them, and let's see if I can get you down here where you can see them. Painted them black, and then those also have, so does the metal plate, have a lacquer sprayed on it. So that's the reason for the pad. And now, remember I was showing you this copper shroud, I guess, and my dilemma was how to get it from there down on this shroud and make it look decent. And what I came up with is this, which is black pipe, well, except for that street elbow there, that's galvanized, but it's ultimately going to get painted black, and that'll sit on top of this post, and then that flange there will accept the copper lampshade. And I'm preparing to drill the holes to accept the screw holes that are in this flange, and I'm going to do that over there on that little extension I've got sitting there on the table workbench. It's just, the lampshade will go up there, and I can drill the holes down. I've already drilled the center hole that will allow the wire to come through that center of the flange there, and then I've got the other 4 holes delineated and center punched, and to drill those. I'm going to do that right now, and then we're going to I got the hardware out of my lamp hardware tub And the flange, I went in the machine screw tub and drew out the bolts that will secure the flange to the copper lampshade. And then obviously the nuts. I haven't got the lock washers out yet. But and then the sorting tray here, all I do is pour things out of the tub into the sorting tray, and then I select what I want, pick it out, and then use that little extension there to put back the things that I poured out. All right, I'm gonna drill these holes and I'll pick this up in just a bit. All right, we're back, and this project is really close to getting finished. Probably just a few minutes of assembly. I've got the bracket right there that gets, with that stub that's sticking out, gets screwed to the lamp socket, the socket that holds the bulb. There's the nuts, bolts, and washers, star washers that are laid out. The copper lampshade has been drilled with all of the resulting holes from the pipe flange. That would be the 4 that are on the outside there, and the center one is to allow the cord to come through, and the lamp socket, and in this case a temporary bulb. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to use a 3-way socket yet or not, meaning low, medium, high. If I do that, then I'll have to get a 3-way bulb, but right now I'm just going to use this to see how it works. And I've got the doodad that's going to support the lampshade, and this is black pipe, and the flanges are there. It's painted, and a coat of clear finish was put on it, and that will get mounted like this. But the issue here, let me put that where you can see it. All right, let me put it another way where you can see it. The issue is getting the wire pulled, because down here is the vertical post where the wire comes through, and then it goes down, and this goes into the lampshade. How do you get the wire on these tight little bends, especially if you're pushing lamp cord, which is, 18 gauge in this case, and kind of flimsy? Well, a person could take and, run the wire through there first, and then assemble that nipple there, and then put the cord through there to this other elbow, but then you turn the elbow, and effectively the cord is getting wound up inside of here. How do you prevent that? And of course you got another elbow down here, so you're going to be doing the same thing. So in essence, this cord is going to have quite a few wraps in it by the time it gets through all these elbows. Well, you could put a string in it. And you're going to say, well, holy smokes, Joe, how in the world are you going to push a string if you can't push a cord? Well, you don't push a string. You pull a string. And I'll show you how you do that right now. And you use 2 simple things. And I'm going to try to set this up where you can see it. It only takes a split second, so you're going to have to bear with me so that I can put it where you can see it at the same time it happens. So give me a second. What you do is you take a string, just like that, just a plain piece of string, and at the very end, this is another trick that I'm showing you. You can use this to pull a string through a 1/4 mile of pipe, no problem. You'd have to have a bigger piece of plastic depending on the size of the pipe, but in this case, for what I've got here, this will work fine. So you take a piece of string with a little piece of plastic, and I've got it taped on the end of it, and you stick it in the one end, like I just did there. Then you take a hose from a vacuum cleaner. Now remember, this is going to happen really fast, so I think I got it set up where you can see it. You turn your vacuum cleaner on and it'll pull it right through the pipe. And there it is. You got to listen for it. It makes you'll hear it go blub, 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 like you just heard. And now the string is there, so I can take and cut the string, or cut that end off, cut the string over there somewhere, and I can use the string to pull the wire through. And we'll show you that in just a bit. Okay, here we are set up at the, sitting on top of the foam here that's on the table. And what I've done is, let me sit out here on the stool. What I've done is taken the string that you see me pull through, and the end of the wire, I set the string in between the groove and put a piece of tape on it, and then I let the string go a little bit wild past the last fold of the tape, folded the string over and made sure that the tape went around that, creating kind of a noose so that the string wouldn't just pull out through the tape. And with a little bit of finesse, and you push and pull on the string, and you should see it pop out right there in just a few seconds. And there it is. Ta-da! That's trick number 3 or 4 that I've showed you on this project. $15 a piece. Anyway, so now I can pull it through, and notice how I can oops. Notice how I can move the cord easily in. Well, maybe you can't notice. I can move the cord easily, just pull it, and it won't kink, and it's nice in there. It's in there nice and straight, and that'll get mounted up here, and then the box will get mounted to here. And we'll pick this up as I put this thing together. See you in a bit. Okay, I'm back, and I'm getting ready to excuse me, put the socket that holds the bulb in to the fixture, and the wire is, you know, the apparatus here for that the wire goes through has been bolted on. And the wire, with stranded wire, it's most recommended that you take and tin the ends of the wire, like here, and what you do is just take a soldering gun and solder the ends of the wire. And the reason for doing that is, with stranded wire, by the time you put it in the screw, sometimes it'll mash out and possibly end up having a bad connection, or down the road, you know, just becoming, you know, not right. So you tin the wires. Now, there are various lamp sockets you can get. This one here happens to have a switch that, you know, left and right, off, on, and inside is just a single terminal. And then there are such things as other sockets that do not have that flip switch, but they have a little threaded protrusion there, and those could also be a single bulb, in other words, single wattage bulb. It just goes click on, click off. However, there are the same types that look exactly like this that are 3-way sockets, meaning you can have a bulb with 3 different wattages in them, and for instance, say a 40, 60, and 100. And how do you tell the difference? Well, if you look in the socket in the bottom, you'll see the central tab there, and then off to the side will be a second tab. All right, if you see that, then you have a 3-way socket, meaning you can put a 3-way bulb in it and have 3 different wattages. And how that works is when you turn the switch, it makes contact between the center connection here, and then it goes to the second one. In other words, this one is turned off, this one is turned on, and then the third one, both of them are turned on. So that's how you can get the three wattage bulb working in a three-way switch. Now, the difference is that the bulbs generally cost more, especially an LED, which is what I'm going to be putting in here. I discovered that LED bulbs are considerably pricey, but a regular, incandescent bulb are fairly reasonable, and you can still find them. But the problem is they got heat, whereas an LED does not, and that's the reason why, with the copper, I thought with the bulb being an incandescent, it could end up being considerably warm, and that would not be a good thing. So I'm going to put a three-way switch in there, and that way, or socket, and that way, you can still use a regular bulb, a single wattage bulb. In other words, it would go click, nothing, click on, click off, and then you'd have to, but it'll still work. Only one, the wattage of that bulb would be the only one that would work. So I'm going to get ready to put this together, and I'll pick this up in a second. All right, I have the socket base screwed to the barrel, the lamp barrel, which is a fine threaded hollow piece that allows the wire to go through, and you can see the screw there that clamps against that barrel, and the socket is wired in. Now, if you ever go and wire one of these, you'll notice that if you look at the wire, one of the sides of the wire is ribbed, meaning there's lines in it, and the other one is smooth. The ribbed one is neutral, which in most cases is the white screw, even on outlets, and the hot line, or in this case the smooth wire, is on the gold screw. And then you slip and they're both tight, and you slip the sleeve over the top of the socket. Now, for somebody in the future, if they want to have to replace this socket, I'm not going to pull the wire all the way through and make this tight, so I'm just going to push it back in there. There should be enough slack to get that to go in there, hopefully. And I want to have this stem that sticks out where the switch knob goes onto, so that it's down. Or I might even put it off to the side. I haven't decided yet, so I'll figure that out in just a bit. But I don't want to push that or pull that wire all the way through. So I think I'm going to have it go down. It looks better. Well, yeah, because if they're on one side of the couch or the other, or chair, then they would have to reach over. So let's put it so it's down. And you just push it up in there until it snaps. Now, if everything's done right, the socket, the part that's inside, won't move up and down in this sleeve, and it's not, which is good. And so we take and put the bulb in there. Now remember, this is a single wattage bulb, LED. The 3 wattage one would, or the 3 different wattages would be, click on, click, number 2, number 3 wattage. But this is just a single wattage, so we'll see how that works, and when I put the switch knob on and carry on. All right, we're done with that little bit of business, and now it's time to fasten the whole gizmo up on top of the post there. Over here on the shop cart, I've got the drills set up in a line, ready to go. The far one has got a VIX bit in it, which is a self-centering bit, and that will allow me to take the same flange that's on there, center it in these holes, And then the center drill has got a clearance bit, the same size as the screw shank diameters, which are there. And then the last one is the driver that will drive the screws down. And the only thing I have to do now is pick it up, pull the wire down from below so that the top of that fixture can go on the post. And we'll do that right now. Thing I got to do is kind of get it centered on where the wire is coming out of the top of the post, and get it so that the lampshade is kind of square-ish to the table. And I think that's pretty darn close by just eyeballing it. So I pick up the Vicks bit. First screw is the important one. Making sure that you get it. I'm using kind of long screws here because of this old log, and it's kind of checked and split at the top. I kind of want to get down into what I believe will be solid meat. Excuse me. And we'll go and see how that works and just here in a second. Yeah. Okay. Now before I drill the other holes, I want to make sure that I'm looking decent. That seems to be about right. Alrighty. Now I can drill or do the other guys. This one's going to be tough because it's a little on the angle there. I'm hoping it's going to work out fine. All right. I need to extend it a bit. I don't want the chuck of the drill raking up against the finished paint, because get out of there. Because, well, I don't want to have to repaint it. Looks like I'm going to have to take that one out. I can't get to the other screws or the other pre-drilled holes. Before I tighten that other one, or that first one, I'll put the other screw in, and that'll register all the 4 holes so that one doesn't deflect. All right. And now, I'll move you. Right now I got a temporary, you can see the stupid wire end there, the plug end. I got it kind of goofy looking. It's just temporary, just to see what it looks like. And here we go for the unveiling. You're going to see this at the exact same moment I see it. In other words, you saw me put the fixture up there, and the You saw the table before, but okay, I'm going to take you off of the tripod here. And now remember that cord is going to go along the trough that we cut earlier, and then it's going to come down the stumpo there. And so right now that's just showing what it looks like. But there's the top, and then here's our fixture. And if I reach in here and grab the little doodad, there's our light. And if I turn, let's see, let me turn off the overhead lights. Brings out the color of the upper post there, and certainly lights up the tabletop. And I don't have the three-way bulb, but I think go back over here and turn the overhead lights on. Stand back and yeah, I'm gonna call this a completed project. Boy, that little knob there, that knot that sticks out, sure does get highlighted nice with that lamp fixture there. All right, I'm gonna call this a done project. Thanks for watching, and check out my other videos, and email me if you have questions or this thing is for sale. I haven't decided a price yet, but just to reiterate, piece of steel plate down at the bottom, 1/4 inch, some knobs turned to hide the bolts sticking through because of the furniture feet that elevate the table or the base of the table off of the floor. Old logs that were in a fire, a piece of myrtle maple with live edge, a black pipe, water pipe for the lamp harness there, a shop-made hammered copper lampshade, and all of the doodads in between. Well, again, thank you for watching, and email me if you have any questions. Signing out.